Young Thug's lawyers are pushing for a mistrial in his case. This has left Lil Baby angry as he believes that Young Thug shouldn't even be in the situation he's in, as Lil Baby has put all of the blame for Thug's current issues onto Gunna. As in Lil Baby's new song 350, he states the lyrics, "Ain't never say nothing about it, boy you know that you're a rat," which has gone viral on social media. So viral that Young Thug's father would have to hop on an interview this week, defending Gunna and even telling Lil Baby to stay quiet.
How do you feel about Lil Baby throwing at Gunna for his plea deal?
He need to shut the fuck up, cause he don't know what's going on. You know, he's going off of what he heard. Ask Lil Baby, have he ever came to a court date?
Oh, okay.
See, that's what I want y'all to ask these damn rappers and these bloggers with this whole snitch shit and this. When have y'all went to a court date to support Slime, to support Jeffrey, to support Thug, however you want to name him? Go on their social media pages and say, why in the haven't you been at the courthouse to support your dude? And I guarantee you won't get an answer.
As according to Young Thug's father, Gunna isn't even in the situation he's in because of Gunna, and allegedly that Gunna never even snitched on Young Thug.
Courtney said, how do you feel about Gunna?
I love Gunna.
See, that's the thing. People don't understand the relationship. They got this thing saying that Gunna is a rat and he's done this and done that.
But see, let me try to help the attorney clarify that a little simpler.
Okay.
Gunna hasn't done anything whatsoever that can hurt us on this case. Period.
This entire argument started when it was officially announced, with the Young Thug YSL RICO trial still on break, expect Thug's lawyers to push for a mistrial this week. The prosecutors have provided little to zero evidence thus far, and it seems as if they need more time, as the Young Thug trial was delayed after a report of Thug's RICO trial is now on recess until January 2nd, 2024, after his co-defendant Shannon Stillwell was targeted inside a jail. However, sources have also confirmed the January 2nd return date is no longer a confirmed return date.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and tell you where we are. Remember yesterday we recessed because one of our participants has had a medical issue, and I was telling you about that. Well, unfortunately that medical condition still exists, and given the length of time that we're going to have to probably address that, it might be just more prudent to recess you and give you an early recess instead of recessing you this Friday. As the court's plan was originally, I'm going to recess you for the holidays today. Okay? So I know you look very disappointed. I can tell from all of you, 17 as a group. It's not that bad. Okay, so
as it is no longer a return date due to Young Thug's lawyers pushing for a mistrial, as Young Thug's father would then break down how his son Young Thug will be released and even when. It all stems down to the jury members in the prosecution. The prosecutors are not doing their job correctly. They're making many mistakes inside of the courtroom, making the judge extremely angry. As on the final day of the trial before being on recess, the judge even had to ask the prosecutor to stay out of his business.
is there anything else at this point in time?
Your Honor, did juror number 39...
Yo, would you stay out of my business, Miss Love?
Oh, well.
Stay out of my business.
Judge,
Look,
I'm sorry.
I've been doing this a long time. Yes, I have, yes. And if you really must know, she's going to reschedule her appointment to the week of the King holiday. You happy? No, you're not happy. But anyways, that's the explanation you're going to get. I'm on top of it. Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Sharp.
As then even 30 minutes into opening arguments during the trial, it was also announced judge in the Young Thug trial isn't happy with the state because they never turned in all of the slides they planned on using in their opening statement.
Is there anything else you're going to use in opening you haven't shown to defense counsel? He's telling us. Well, I said that. I told you to do that a week ago. Because here's what I told you was going to happen. I've got a jury that's out right now that's being interrupted. And Ms. D. Williams, you should have made your motion or should have told me about that an hour ago or when you found out about it. Not hijack me at the bench about that. You did what you had to do, but I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about any of this. Because this is stuff we could take care of before our jury comes in. And that makes you all, lessen your ability as advocates and lessen our ability for this jury to go ahead and get this case seamlessly. This is what I told you all was going to happen. So,
as even the judge stated in the start of that clip, he already told the prosecutors to be ready, have all of their slides and evidence ready for opening day, and they didn't do it.
Allowed us
really,
to...
I'm really annoyed about this, Ms. Hilton. I just am. This is ridiculous. Your witness list has grown by 2/3 since then. And I don't know why. You better have a dang good explanation on the 16th, because if you don't, I'm going to exclude it. Okay. But right now I'm telling you, without anything further, it's gone.
Well, we would like to
exclude a lot more on that date, because this is ridiculous. There is no plausible explanation I've gotten and that would suffice, that we just kind of keep, you keep dripping and driving out evidence.
All of this confusion, as well as the prosecutors just being very bad at their job, has stressed out the judge so much, as it's not even acting as if like it's a real court case anymore. It even got so bad, the judge had to announce that he needs to bring in a service dog to help calm him down during the proceedings.
Right here behind me is this bell that starts jingling, all right? And if you hear a jingling sound like a bell, please don't think that I'm doing anything creepy up here, all right? I have a service dog behind me. His name is Jack. I think some of you may have seen him already. He lives the best life ever. He's pampered. He's really, and he is a Labrador Retriever. He's about almost 2.5, 3 years old at this point in time. So, but if you hear that bell, that's him moving around, all right? He doesn't bark. He rarely gets interested in what's going on, so he might come up here and look, but that's about it, all right? Don't bring him any food either, okay? All right? He is spoiled rotten, so please don't try and throw any food back here behind me or anything like that. He doesn't need anything else, okay? But if you hear that bell, hear that sound.
When you add in the prosecutors being very bad to also the new jury issues we're having, a mistrial is seeming very likely. After it was reported, and I quote, "A jury member has been dismissed in the Young Thug trial and is being replaced with an alternate after being in the hospital over the weekend," was officially announced, the judge started being very concerned about the health of the trial.
I'm in receipt of the admission form, and as of current, she is still in the hospital. Her anticipated release date potentially is this coming Wednesday. So, much as I like to wait till Wednesday, I'm going to probably have to go ahead and excuse her due to illness. So, does anybody wish to be heard about that issue?
Your Honor, before we do that, can I just figure out who 269 is?
All right, and I'll let you take a look at I'm going to mark this as the next court exhibit in order, as well as I'm going to seal it for purposes of juror confidentiality.
As the YSL RICO trial is an expected 6 to 8 month long trial, the fact that they've already lost 3 jury members now in only 2 weeks, there is a high possibility we run out of jurors. As even DJ Academics would report, members of the jury were shown on live stream, and people believe this is why the judge called the attorneys to his chambers for a potential mistrial. As reports from No Jumper would state, fans are already identifying jury members on Thug's trial after a courtroom camera accidentally revealed their faces. A commenter would say, "I know that guy with the glasses on, that's Dante Wilson, he is on the jury," as Dante Wilson would also then have to be excused from this trial due to safety concerns, which would then leave us with another alternate. However, to understand when Thug's release date is, we need to dive deep into how bad the prosecutors truly are, as they are the main reason this could end in a mistrial. Just for proof, before going into the new evidence, here is the prosecutors trying to ask their own witness on the stand a simple question.
As it relates to a musical artist's words, is there any crime in saying words?
There are certainly potentially crimes in spoken words.
All right. Now, I'm not talking about crimes being described in words. I'm speaking of, is it a crime to speak the words?
As a generality, no. Outside of
Your Honor, that was the answer to the question. And
So it's non-responsive, is that what you're saying? Okay, I sustain this as non-responsive.
Have you ever sought to arrest anyone for speaking words in a song?
no, ma'am.
As the prosecutors would then bring their second witness to the stand, named Melissa Rozier. A report goes and reads, in Thug's RICO trial, Melissa Rozier, a house mom at the Pony South Club outside of Atlanta, testifies about getting carjacked on her way home from work, as she would break down how the crime started with her driving home.
Stopped at the stop sign and I felt someone hit me. I looked up and saw a car. I didn't want to block the entrance, so I pulled on to the right, which is the direction I would have taken to go home anyway. So I turned to the right, stopped, got out of my car, turned it off. I left my keys and everything in my car. The subdivision in which I was living at the time, a lot of Delta people worked there. People were coming and going all hours of the day and night. I mean, women would be pushing babies in strollers 5:30 in the morning out running. So I thought nothing of it. I got out and turned the car off, left the door open, everything in the car. I walked towards the back of the car. A young man got out of his car. I greeted him. He greeted me. I looked down at the bumper and saw no damage. And I really, at that point, was going to look up and say, honey, I'm tired, I'm going home, you go home.
As she would explain, it all started with a very small bump to her vehicle, where she would then hop out of her car to see how bad the damage was. However, while she got out of her vehicle, that's when a YSL member stole her car.
And as I looked up, I saw someone in his car rising up, and he was running around me. I guess my mind knew something was about to happen, something that wasn't good, but it happened so fast. He got in my car, and because of the backpack, my mind just focused on the backpack. I opened the back left passenger's door, thinking I could reach into the front seat and get the backpack, and the backpack, because it had my daddy's CD in it and my camera. So I reached in to get that, and I guess instinct, I don't know, God said, just let it go. So I stepped back and actually shut the door myself. And he drove off. At that point, I think the other car had already gone.
As this is where it gets interesting. The crime occurred 10 years ago in 2013. The state would then ask her if she knew a man named Trontavious Stevens, aka Slug, the co-founder of YSL. He took a plea deal in December of 2022. She would state she does not remember his name at all. It made her testimony feel very strange. She was absolutely zero help to this crime inside of the courtroom, so the state would then need to call the police officer that was in charge of investigating the crime 10 years ago. He also provided little to zero evidence at all, so he started lying on the stand to try to make Young Thug look bad. As in trial, he claimed that Young Thug and YSL members were teasing him 10 years ago, throwing up hand signs at him because he couldn't figure out the crime.
I observed them come out of the building with their attention already focused on the vehicle that I was driving, myself and my partner.
Okay.
And then they immediately began throwing signs and yelling at us.
Had you done anything to that group of gentlemen before they came out, focusing on you and your partner, throwing signs and yelling at you?
No, ma'am.
As Young Thug's lawyer would then call him out for lying in front of everyone. A report would read, Thug's lawyers are going hard at work. Atlanta officer is getting cross-examined after accusing Thug of flashing hand signs at him. Thug's lawyers are asking why this wasn't mentioned in the original report.
When you testified a little while ago for the state, and they asked you a couple questions about this, you said they were flashing hand signs, right?
Correct.
Right. Now, you didn't say that in your report, though, did you?
No.
And I mean, you wrote a 2-page report, and it was very detailed about everything that happened and everyone who was involved, down to names and dates of births, right?
Right.
You put a serial number in there, right?
Yes.
And you're trained as a police officer that anything that is of significance, like if you think, for example, something is related, you put that in the report, right?
Right.
But that report, the same one that she had you read, right, because you can remember some stuff, in that third paragraph where it talks about what you saw those people doing, you ain't say nothing about, I saw signs, right?
Correct.